Hey Kit Kats, I'm here, and I'm here to tell you a story of a beautiful story about a group I made in around the middle of 5th grade called the Mufflers. Now, at the peak of this group, almost my whole class was in it, and the people who weren't in it wanted to get in it. Either that or they just didn't care. There was no one at the time who thought, man, I don't want to be in this group. But in the future, you'll see that there were people who were against it. This group, we voted on who should be let in, who should be kicked out, and there were 3 tiers. The 3 tiers were Muffler in training, unofficial, and official. The Muffler in training were people who were barely in the Mufflers. The unofficials were anyone who isn't bad enough to be in the training, and anyone who wasn't one of the original 4 creators. And the officials was me. I'm just going to put initials of their name for the other 3 people. It was me, J, G, and A. We made up the officials, the original 4 founding members of the Mufflers. I, of course, was the creator. I made up the name, of course, at the time. I didn't know that it was the back part of a car, which is sad. And just so you know, that's how I got the name of my channel, a Muffler. It's from, me being the leader of the Mufflers. And and also at the peak of the career, I was making a newsletter that talked about the fake country that I made and what was going on there and what was going on in the group, like people leaving, people entering, drama, stuff like that. And yeah, and so in the recruiting phase of things, it was after we had just made the Mufflers, and so in the recruitment phase, we were recruiting some other members of the class, and yeah, it was cool. It's probably one of my favorite phases of the Mufflers, because we had this table at one of the edges of the room. And we sat there at lunchtime and voted on stuff and different things. And one day we were on a field trip to this one art place, and we decided on like our country's flower and our group's bird and stuff like that. And eventually I made a flag, but that's neither here. Probably there, but whatever. And one day, some people decided to make an opposing group because they weren't in the group. And of course, being in the group was not cool. If you weren't in the group, you weren't cool. And so they made a group called the Blazers. And the Blazers, I tried making a treaty with them. We were going through like a little battle here. But my friends, of course, they didn't like the idea of the treaty. And so we ended up, I signed the treaty. Me and the leader of the Blazers signed the treaty. But the thing is, my friends, they didn't like the idea of the treaty. And so they ended up going for a battle with this group. So they did a fight using baseball. And whoever won the baseball match got to keep their group alive. And whoever lost had to destroy their group. And of course, we won that war really easily. And then a while after that, these kids made a Muffler extermination group. This was a smaller group, and it failed really quickly. And Jay, who was one of the people in the top tier of our group, decided that it was against our copyright to have the Muffler name in it. And he tried to sue them over it for like a nickel or something, but they decided not to. And then eventually they just destroyed their group. I don't really know why, but maybe it's just because, it was falling apart. Can't really do that. My group, of course, had the coolest kids in the class. And, people just kept joining. And one day, since my mom had been complaining about how not inclusive it was, which I guess it's right. So I went around the class asking people if they wanted to join. Some people joined. This one kid, we're just going to call him EC for now. I tried letting him in the group. Just saying. This is not by any means my fault. It's not by any means my fault. I I tried letting them in to the lowest tier possible. I made them, there are different levels in each tier. And so I tried putting them into the lowest level of the lowest tier, so the worst you could get, but still in the group. But people were mad even when he was like the lowest humanly possible. And so I ended up having to kick him out. I'm a man of the people. And then one day, summer rolled around. And without me being there to maintain the group, and of course us not being in the same classroom with the same limited restrictions, and my dad was the teacher there, and it was a very free classroom to do what you want. The group was sort of disbanded. Now there are 3 members in my class left out of the 10 people there. And that's me, A, and O. O was an unofficial member. Sometimes she became unofficial, sometimes not. And one day I was like, you know what, we keep taking votes on whether she's an official or an unofficial. So let's take one last vote, and the vote was she should be an unofficial. And so she's still an unofficial to this day. But yeah, that's the story of the group. It's dead now, basically dead. It still exists, but this one person in my class, we're gonna call her V. She was questioning whether it was even alive or not. It's such a dead group that some people didn't even think it existed anymore, which is sad. And I really miss this group. I really wish I could go back to 5th grade and relive this, but I can't do that. It's over. I feel like that was the prime of my life. You know, I was at the top of the, like, I was getting really good grades. My dad was the teacher. I was the leader of like the biggest thing in my class. But no, the group's been disbanded. My dad doesn't teach me anymore, and but I'm still getting good grades, of course. But yeah, I miss this group. It's sad to see it go. It's basically gone. It died. Oh, it died overnight. Basically, it died over summer. No one was even there to see it. Just, you know, me not being able to talk to everyone in the group and just a certain selection of them who were also on Xbox. It sort of just broke things. And I don't think I'll ever get the chance to do that again. Because, first of all, that type of thing is definitely not cool nowadays. Like, no way is it cool. It's freaking, you'd get probably beaten up. Not in my school, though. My school is good people. It's not a public school. But, yeah, man, Mufflers is dead. Which is sad. And this channel is the closest thing I got to the Mufflers. Because I think of my subscribers as the Mufflers, the new Mufflers. But yeah, it's sad that it had to end. But I think I'm just gonna end that there. I'm gonna look at this paper. I didn't actually make a script, but it's some project assignment thing about what job we would get if we were in a certain book or something. Yeah, made a newsletter. Yeah, posted on there. Yep, I think so. Yeah, but sometimes we'd vote to kick people out of the group who we didn't want in. Sometimes we'd vote on lowering someone's rank. Sometimes we'd vote on making someone's rank higher. Sometimes I'd just make the decisions and not let anyone vote on it, which is sort of mean. I know, but we don't need to talk about it. And yeah, just back then, it was a big deal, and now it's not, and I'm sad. But I'll see you guys later in the next episode of either Dark Stuff or Muffler. You choose. I'll see you guys later.